The rain fell hard against the tinted windows of the car. They shifted nervously, his arms tightly protectively around the small sleeping bundle in his arms. His daughter, Sojin. She was just 2 months old, a precious secret he had carried, and now he stood under the porch of the grand cold house he shared with his husband, waiting. The driver he just informed, and Jungkook was already inside. The black door opened from within. Theung bent down and saw him, Jungkook, in a sharp black suit, looking every bit the untouchable CEO he was. His face was all sharp angles and intense eyes, fixed on a tablet. He didn't look up. The the other guy isn't available, Jin Hyung said, assured. Theung's voice was soft, almost swallowed by the rain. Get in. We'll be late for the family dinner. Jungkook's voice was flat, a command he still didn't look at him. Theung slid in quickly, carefully not to let the rain touch Sojin. He moved to the far side, but then froze. The seat was occupied. A briefcase and a file was nearby placed there. The seat, it's... Jungkook finally glanced over. His gaze flinched at Tae. The documents are for an urgent meeting. You'll have to manage. Manage? They looked around the suspicious car. There was no other seat. The only space was the space next to Jungkook. But it wasn't wide. His eyes widened as he understood. I can wait for another car. It's fine. We don't have time, they said. The command was final, with burning cheeks and a heart humming against his ribs. The young inches closed. He has no other choice. He carefully, so carefully lowered himself to sit on Jungkook's lap. It was just as his weight barely touched the man. He was stiff, holding himself, and Sojin away, turning his body toward the window. The car moved smoothly into the rainy night. The silence was heavy, broken only by the soft on the wet roads and gentle hum of the engine. They held his breath, feeling the solid warmth against the Jungkook thighs, the faint, expensive scent of his cologne. Then a small whimper came for the bundle in his arm. Then another. Sojin was waking up, and they knew the sign. She was hungry. Panic seized him. He couldn't, not here, not on his lap. Sojin cries. Grow more. Tiny fist pushed against her blanket. The young guy spurred with the helpless tears. He tried to rock her gently, but it was no use. He took a shaky breath. His husband hasn't spoke a word, hasn't moved. Maybe if he was so quiet. He shifted just slightly, awkwardly, to unbutton the top of his shirt, of the soft shirt. He positioned Sojin, helping her. Her cries instantly replaced by the soft sound. They let out a breath he didn't know he was holding his face. With humiliation, he kept his eyes tightly shut, wishing he could disappear. Then he felt movement, a shift of a fabric. Jungkook was moving. They traced himself for a cold remark, for disgust, but it didn't come. Instant he felt the heavy, firm weight of Jungkook's coat being draped over him. It covered Theung's side, his back and Sojin completely, creating a dark, private tent. Jungkook's arm came around him, not to hold him, but to hold the coat in place. His hand weighed on the coat over Theung's hips. The eyes flew open. He was surrounded by Jungkook's scent, enveloped in the warmth. The sign was so protective, so thoughtful. It was the first kind thing Jungkook had done in all the 6 of a cold arranged marriage. A soap catch in Theung thought. He didn't dare to speak, didn't dare to move. He just sat there on his husband's lap, nursing their child under the shelter of the coat. The car drove on. Under the cover of the coat, they shared the silent warmth. Something frozen between them began. Just barely. She is quiet now. Jungkook's voice was low, closer to the ear than he expected. It wasn't soft, but it wasn't cold either. Yes, they whispered back. His voice was thick, a longer silence. Then ever so slightly, they felt himself relax. He back leaned just a friction against Jungkook's solid chest. For the rest of the ride, they stayed like that. Two strangers, bound by the law, and a child, shared an unexpected moment of peace, hidden from the world by a coat. In the falling rain, the car stopped at the bright lit traditional Korean mansion, the John family house. Jungkook's arms moved, pulled the coat back. The cool air hit Taehyung's skin, making him shiver. The moment was over. Fix your shirt, Jungkook said, his voice back to its usual tone. He looked out the window, giving them privacy. Oh, okay, they whispered quickly, button up his shirt. Sojin was asleep again. Mel drunk and peacefully. They carefully arranged her blanket. Jungkook stepped out of the car first and held an umbrella for him. Without looking back, he walked back to the entrance. The heart sank. He struggled to get out while holding the baby. Suddenly Jin, Jungkook's elder Hyung, and the family driver was there. Here, let me help you, Taehyung. Jin was kindly holding the umbrella over them. The little princess shouldn't get wet. Thank you, Jin. They gave him a small smile. Jin was always kind to him. Jungkook told me make sure you have an umbrella. Just as you know. Taehyung blinked in surprise, but didn't have time to process it. He hurried inside, where Jungkook was waiting, impatiently tapping his foot. He didn't say a word, just turned and walked into the loud dinner room. The room was filled. Jungkook's parents, his father, and a looking woman were there. Also present were some of their friends, and to their relief, two familiar faces, Jimin and Jaehob, who were friends of both of them, and Jungkook from university. They, over here, Jimin waved. His smile bright, immediately made room next to him. They sat down holding Sojin close. Jungkook sat across the table, between his father and business associate. He didn't look at the dinner began. The elders talk about their business talks. They felt invisible. He focused on Sojin, playing with her tiny fingers on the table. They, dear, the baby is so quiet. You're doing a great job. His smile was bright, but thank you, Ma. Jungkook, the bug deal. It's need your signature tomorrow. No delays. He said it like an order. I know, Abba, Jungkook said with crisp. The conversation was cold. They felt a familiar wrapped around him. This was his life. A decorations in the husband world. Then Sojin, and start to first. The room was too warm, too loud. Excuse me, I think she needs a change. They said in standing up. He went to the quiet familiar guest room upstairs. As he was gently changing Sojin's diaper on the bed, the door opened. He looked up unexpectedly a maid. It was Jungkook. Is is everything okay? They asked, searching the fresh diapers. Jungkook leaned against the doorframe. His hand was in his pocket. He looked at then at the baby. They asked for dessert. My mom wants you to join. I'll be right there. A silence. Jungkook didn't leave. He just watching Taehyung lifted Sojin, cuddling her into her chest. In the car, Jungkook started, then stopped. He looked away at the wall. You were trembling. Were you cold? Or scared? The question was so unexpected, so direct, that Taehyung breathed hacked. I was embarrassed. He admired softly, looking down at Sojin's face. I didn't want to be a bother. Jungkook was quiet for a long moment. Then he pushed off the door frame and took a few steps into the room. You were not. His voice was low. A bother. Their eyes met for the first time in the months. They felt like Jungkook was truly seeing him, not the husband he was forced to marry, but Theon. She looks like you, he said, nodding towards Sojin. She has your eyes. Do you think so? The heart fluttered. I think she has your frown. When she thinks hard, a sound almost like a chuckle except Jungkook. It's so rare. They thought he imagined it. Probably. Jungkook took another step closer. Reached out. His finger hesitated for a second before brushing very gently over Sojin's cheek. She's small. She's growing fast. They whispered, watching the huge, careful hand of his husband touching their daughter. The air in the room was changed. It felt charged, delicate. The sound of the dinner party faded away. It was just three of them. Suddenly footprints echoed in the hall. Jungkook pulled his hand back. The softness on his face disappeared behind his usual mask. Hey, you are in there? You have bought your favorite sweet cake. The moment broke. Jungkook cleared his thought. You should eat cake, he said and walked out of the room, passing a cheerful Jimin at the door. Jimin entered. His eyes were curious. Everything is okay? Was Jungkook in here? He looked different. I don't know, Jimin. I really don't know. But as he walked back downstairs, a tiny Pringle hope began to bloom in Thune's chest. Maybe, just maybe, the ice was beginning to crack. The ride home was silent again, but this time the silence felt different. It wasn't just empty, it was full of things unsaid. They sat in his own seat this time. The documents had been moved to the front. He kept glancing at Jungkook, who was staring out of the raining. They reached the penthouse. It was beautiful, but felt more like a museum than a house. Gold. I put her to bed, Thung said quietly, heading straight to the nursery next to the room. Was that only reply. They went through Sojin's bedtime routine, a warm bath, a clean, and a song he sang. His mind repeatedly felt Jungkook's coat, the gentle brush of his finger on Sojin's cheeks. When she slept in her crib, they walked to his own bedroom. He paused outside the master bedroom, Jungkook's room. He had never entered. They had slept separately since their wedding night. He went to his room, changed into a soft nightdress, and climbed into his own cold bed. The window outside, with thunder rolled in the distance. A big storm was coming. Just as he closed his eyes, a loud clap of thunder shook the entire building, and at the same moment, Sojin's cries appraised the air from the nursery. The noise had scared her. Theon rushed to her room. He picked her up, rocking her. It's okay, my love. Uma's here. With the storm burst, another bloom of thunder made the boat jump. Sojin cried loudly. Tiny body were trembling. They tried everything, but she was too frightened. He was started to feel scared himself. The penthouse felt huge and exploded at the top of the building. Then the door of the nursery opened. Jungkook stood there, hair messed, wearing grey sweatpants and a simple white t-shirt. He looked younger, less than like CEO and more like just Jungkook. She won't sleep? He asked. His voice was rough with sleep. The thunder is too loud. It scares her, they said, almost in tear for helplessness. Jungkook walked in. He looked at them holding their screaming daughter. Both of them looked small and scared. Come, he said simply and turned, walked out. Confused, Theon followed him. Jungkook didn't go to their room or his own. He went to the large living room. He knelt by the wall and opened a hidden, turning a switch. A soft electric fireplace of the live castle of warm, golden glow across the room. He then walked to the huge L-shaped sofa, grabbed the soft blanket, and spread it out. Here, the fire will down the thunder, and the room is in the center of the apartment. It feels safer, he explained, his back to them. They was touched. He walked over and carefully sat on the soft carpet in front of the sofa, leaning against it, candling Sojin in the glow of the firelight. The fake flames danced and the sound of that cracked. Almost immediately, Sojin cries were calmed to a whisper, then to a soft sign. The warmth and that steady light worked magic. Jungkook stood there awkwardly for a moment, then sat down on the sofa beside them, keeping a distance. Thank you, they whispered, leaning his back against the sofa cushion. He was exhausted. It's nothing. Jungkook sighed. They sat in the warm, quiet light. They feel the heat of Jungkook like near his shoulder. He feels Sojin breathe, even out, into his sleep. She's asleep, he reported softly. Good. A comfortable silence settled. The eyes grew heavy. The stress of the day, the warm fire, the feeling of safe. You couldn't fight it, he said, was resting against the sofa, tilted sideways. It came to the rest gently against Jungkook's knee. He jerked away, about to pull away. Sorry, It's fine. His voice was quiet. Sleep. I make sure the fire stays on. The permission, the quiet command, then given. He let his head rested against Jungkook's knee again. It was firm and warm. He felt the hand hesitate, then settle lightly on top of his head. Not a stalk, just a weight, a grounded, comfortable presence. They fell asleep like that, with his baby on his chest and his husband's hand on his head, guiding them against the storm. For the first time in the cold apartment, he felt at home. Jungkook watched them sleeping. The firelight played on their peaceful faces. His chest felt tight with an emotion he couldn't name. He left his hand right where it was, protecting the two people who were legally at least his.